Welcome to Through Our Lens podcast, the podcast where we focus on empowering the African American community. Well, as my audience, you already know I'm big on supporting my queens and my kings, and I have to give you the backstory of how we arrived to where we are now. So I was in my bed. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning. Your girl should have been asleep because I had to get up at 4:30, and I was just praying, asking God, who should my next guest be? And this particular person name came up in my mind. But y'all, let me just tell you how the enemy works. When God told me to reach out to her, I wasn't gonna do it because like the devil had already planted a mental image in my mind of her just looking at the message saying, I don't know her like that. I ain't about to do her podcast. Who is she for real? Because this young queen, she's already established. She doesn't need me for anything. She doesn't really have to come on my podcast to help me or speak about, her walk and her journey. So I was just sitting there like, I don't know. And I'm very honest. Y'all know my walk with God is, I'm just getting to this point where I am now, where I'm really grounded. Any other time I straddle the fence. But I was like, Tanisha, God telling you to do it, you need to do it. And y'all, I reached out to her. And your girl responded within 5 minutes and said, yeah. I was in the bed like, oh, but my guest today is Miss Erica Simpson. Y'all give me a minute because your girl accomplishments is like a book. When I tell you she out here doing big things and let God work in her life, she is. So Erica Simpson is a dynamic and driven real estate professional with a passion for helping clients navigate the complexities of buying and selling homes. As the owner and broker in charge of Erica Homes, LLC, Erica has built a reputation for excellence in the Carolinas real estate market. She has over 2 decades of experience. Erica holds multiple certifications and professional memberships and a dedication to continuous learning. Erica's mantra is, always put people first, and the money will follow. When she's not working, Erica enjoys spending time with her family and exploring the vibrant communities of the Carolinas. Welcome, Queen. Welcome. Again, I thank you for being so humble, for just being so willing to come on my podcast. I love you. Okay.
I love your energy since I've been here and actually meeting with you today in person.
Thank you so much. So, y'all, we're going to dive right in. We're going to call this episode How Faith and Consistency Leads to Success. So, Erica, can you just talk about, were there any specific moments of experience in your childhood that solidified your commitment to your faith?
I went to Christian school through most of my elementary years, my preschool years. So I think that was very critical in solidifying my faith. We had Bible, and that Bible was one of the main subjects. You had to pass Bible just like you have to pass math and reading. So that, and going to church with my grandparents at a very young age. Even though my dad did not attend church regularly, he always made sure that I went to church. So I think that those things, and when they say it takes a village to raise a child, my grandparents were a part of my village that made sure that I went to church as well, and vacation Bible school and all of that.
So you already talked about your influential figures, your grandparents and your father. So how has your faith influenced your career aspirations and goals?
I started out as a buyer's agent when I first started in real estate. So I was helping a whole lot of first-time buyers, and the particular group of first-time buyers I would help were the people that nobody else wanted to work with. The people that did not have any money. I showed people thought that buying a house was some big feat that you just cannot do, and that you needed thousands of dollars to do it. So in my first year, I was able to sell 75 houses through my sphere of influence. And my niche at that time was I would get all their closing costs paid. I would get them 100% loan. We would put up $500 for the earnest money, and they they would get that $500, and sometimes, if the bank would allow, they would get all their money back. So I started showing people that you can have the then American dream of home ownership with no money out of pocket, less than it would cost you for a deposit in your first month's rent. So once people started hearing that and seeing testimonies, actual people that they knew that they too did not think, oh my God, this person's got a house. How did they get a house? And then it just started spreading like wildfire. And I was working 7 days a week to try to accommodate for those people, because I was getting so many calls, because people were believing and knowing that if their peers could do it, that they could do it as well. So that was, and a lot of the agents at the time in my office was like, why do you always write these contracts asking for all this? Just let your seller make the decision. Are they going to take the offer or not? And oftentimes they took the offer.
So what got you into real estate? What?
Actually, my family has been into real estate. My grandmother owned rental properties, both residential and commercial. And then my dad, he also had investment properties. So originally I started out in real estate was because I wanted to find more properties. And my agent at the time was not bringing me deals. And at the time, I also thought that the majority of deals are made on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service for real estate agents. And it wasn't until later I found out that, there's a whole world of off-market properties as well. So I initially started selling real estate because people found out I had my license, and I had been doing bail bonding, and we owned a local gas station. So I had a big sphere of influence of people that I was connected to, that supported me, that was a part of my village. And they found out that I was selling real estate, and they would ask me, and I would start selling. And that's how I transitioned from investor, because I was an investor that was just getting licensed, to an actual real estate agent, and now I'm circling back around.
So in what ways has your obedience to God guided your decision-making process, like both personally and professionally?
I think it's my level of faith. They say you have to have faith of a mustard seed. Well, my faith in God and knowing who God is and believing in God is bigger than a mustard seed. That's the bare minimum to make things happen, right? So if you know the impact and you know God is God, then I am a testimony of that. And I don't fear anything, because regardless, I feel like God got me. And I don't approach and say, God, why did you let this happen to me? I say, God, what am I supposed to learn from this?
I love it.
And when you take that approach in life to say, what am I supposed to learn from this? You don't get beat down by problems in life. You understand that problems in life are going to come, and you got to be the problem solver. And there's a solution to every problem. And as they say, this too shall pass. There's going to be another problem. So if you stay stuck on this one, you can't move to the next one. So I think that my faith and understanding and knowing that God is God, and I know that God is God, and I know that God has me, and I also believe in that I'm standing on, and they tell you about generational curses in the Bible. And I believe that, and I wholeheartedly believe that I'm standing on the faith of my great-grandparents. They were very religious people. They prayed. They did things to make mankind better. And there was always the understanding that the rent we pay on earth is service.
Ooh.
So you may not be able to repay the person that needs your help, but somebody else may help you in ways that you don't even know. So you got to be willing to sow those seeds that when they come to harvest, they're not a nightmare for you.
So when you're talking about sowing the seeds, and you know, how are you able to remain humble with your blessing? Like I already told you, I could just already peep you very humble. You know, some people once they get established and stuff, they tend to forget who got them there. So has it ever been a time in your life where you wasn't humble with the blessing, or you've always kind of been humble?
I just think, I mean, I don't, people say, oh, you're Erica Simpson, hey, boss ladies, the things like that. But I just feel like, hey, I'm just out here living life, doing what I want to do every day. And like you said in my bio, if you put people first, the money's going to come. And I'm not driven by the money. It's by me doing what I want to do every day and what I enjoy doing. And it just happens to have a monetary benefit with it. So there's no, oh, I'm this and that. And I don't have a large circle. I'm not around a lot of people. And I don't have any desire for any of that. Right. So, and then people get a perception from you because they do not know you or they have not interacted with you. And they think, oh, well, you're this way or that way. And it's really not. And sometimes now with the social media era, people can just twist who you are by pictures and what they think you should be or what you're doing, and that's not the case.
You're right. That's absolutely true. Like, in me, case in point, I'm thinking, this Erica Simpson, she gonna tell me, girl, I don't know you like that. Ain't doing that. And you was just so humble and like, yeah, girl, what date and time? So, yeah, you're right. People already, I think sometimes do you think people sometimes are intimidated by your success?
I think so, more so than me. And then sometimes people pick at me because I drive a little beat up car and they're like, that's you get out of that car. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with And then somebody else like, you can at least get a Mako paint job. It's all faded. And I'm like, well, it gets me where I want to go. And every time I turn the key, it starts up. So
I love it. You just are so humble. Have you ever faced moments where your faith was tested in the pursuit of your ambitions?
Yeah, I think that's a part of life in your process. And that's why I was telling you that problems are going to come, but there's a solution to every problem. And as long as you say, I've got to find the solution to this problem, you're going to keep overcoming and defeating all of the challenges. I mean, look at David and Goliath.
That's true.
It was the small rocks that eventually took him down. So life is about strategy. And it doesn't have to be the biggest or the grandest. Sometimes you got to chip away at that problem or whatever that you're facing when you're in the face of adversity. You got to chip away in small pieces. But eventually, you're going to get the results that you're looking for.
That's true. So can you share a specific example of a time when you felt God directly intervened in your career or your life leading towards your success?
I think when I taught first grade for 5 years.
Oh, you was a teacher?
Yeah, I taught
wow.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in instructional accommodation for the divergent learner. And so I decided that I did not want to be in the school system anymore. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go. And actually, I was supposed to, Gardner Webb was starting their doctoral program. So because everybody tells you a formal education is going to make you some money. But you got to realize a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's bars. Drop that again. Say that again now.
It's a quote. It says that a formal education will make you a living. A self-education will make you a fortune.
Yes.
So most people are not becoming wealthy in, your freedom financially, your freedom of your time through formal education. It's through what you learn on your own, self-education. That's why they got YouTube out. That's why they got the internet, that they have all these tutorial videos. All of those things are self-education. They're not coming from a formal education of a textbook and a teacher.
That's true.
So I decided to venture out from my job, which I had finished my contract with Lancaster County School District, and I decided to take the real estate course the summer before, because you got to have a plan, you have to have the strategy. So I was in a contract with Lancaster County School District. On my summer break, I took the real estate course. I finished my contract and decided I was not going to sign another contract. And I went full speed into, I thought, the investing world, but once people started realizing I had my real estate license, I started helping other people acquire real estate. And it was mostly first-time home buyers became my niche at the time.
So what was the most challenging part about, you branching off, going to a new career path? Was it times that you felt like, is this something I really want to do? Like, or were you just headstrong? Okay, this is over with. This is what I want to do.
Well, I just make up my mind because I feel like, and I don't have any children, so when I eat, my whole world eats. So the worst, I always say, what's the worst that can happen? And what was the worst that could happen to me was I had to go back and be a teacher.
But you even had something to fall back on. So
right.
You still, yeah.
So that was the worst that could happen to me. So why not take a chance? And I feel like I'm a big risk taker. And now I'm starting to try to scale back on the risk that I take. But I just been like a daredevil all my life. Like, I'm going to jump out of a balloon or something. I'll just do anything pretty much. But I'm not scared. So I don't let fear overcome me. And I think that has been my biggest thing. It's just get out there and do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? I have to regroup, come back, worst case scenario, go back to teaching again. But if I don't try this, how will I ever know?
No. That's good.
So I'm all for trying something at least once, except for drugs. But I don't think, and I've just seen the effects of other people that make me not want to do that. So, calculated risk.
Gotcha. So, how do you define success, and how does your faith inform that definition?
I think that success is me being able to wake up every day, and not every day that I do what I want to do, but for 95% of my days that I wake up, I'm doing what I want to do. And to me, that's my success.
Wow, I love it. How has your relationship with God evolved throughout your journey to success?
I think that as you come into different stages of life, you are maturing, and just like you mature with age, you're going to mature with your spiritual walk with Christ. And so now, I had kind of got away from church, and they talk about church hurt that you experience, and you've been in some of the wrong places and dealing with things, but you can't let church hurt deny you of what you need to be spiritually fed.
Preach. You better say it, girl. Okay.
So, I have been disconnected, reconnected with church, and I think that church is very critical in that you need motivation every day. It's like a bath because you have to stay focused. There's so many things that can take your mind away from you. Stress, anxiety, depression. There's so many things that life can, beat you down in so many ways. And I think that, having that reset every Sunday with church to be able to face the next week has been my biggest thing. And being with a church and a church family that we get that and we're connected, and I love my church. I love my church family. I love my preacher. And he's more of a teacher. He's not shouting at us. He's teaching strictly from the word. And I think that that has been one of my bigger things in releasing my faith.
What impact do you hope to make on the world through your work and your faith?
You always want to leave things better than you found them. So I try to do what I would want somebody else to do. Like this summer, I'm having a new experience with my intern. I'm not gonna put him on camera because he kind of shy. But like just wanting somebody else, and especially a young person or young people, to give back, to make them better. Things that I wish I had known at his age, even though I probably get on his nerves, I'm telling him now. And I try to do that with my nephews and my family or any young people that I come into contact with. I try to tell them what I wish I had known. And then I say, well, you may not understand it now, but it may come full circle later. And if it comes full circle later for you, I have done my job, even if you don't understand it now. So, and I have a nephew that's like 32 now. And all the stuff that I used to tell him as a teenager, he'll come back and he'll say, Auntie Erica, da 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 da. I said, I told you. And he said, you always said, that one day you're going to thank me for this. And so there has been some things that he has had to thank me for that he did not appreciate as a teenager.
He gets it now.
Yes.
Is that like really stressful? Like knowing that so many people kind of look up to you? Is that?
No, I don't even think about it. Like I said, and it goes back to a childhood song. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It never says tell anybody it's on. So if you live your life that I'm gonna let this little light of mine shine, and you're gonna let it shine, 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 then why should it be stressful or depressing?
I love that. I love that. What advice would you give to young African American women who are striving to achieve their dreams while staying true to their faith?
You got to be committed. You have to be strategic. Everything is about strategy. If you don't have a strategy, it's not going to work. And you got to be ready to be a lifelong learner. I dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to learning new things about either my profession or things that I'm going through in life or whatever to pivot, because the market is shifting right now. The economy is changing. So I dedicate at least 30 minutes every day, 7 days a week, to learning new things.
Could you share a time when you faced significant adversity and how your faith helped you to overcome it?
I just feel like the Spirit of God follows me. I feel like I'm protected. I don't too much worry about things. I'm not a worrier. I just feel like this is happening. You got to get it done. Okay. Now, do I take? Sometimes I do take a step back and say, okay, how urgent is this for me to immediately deal with it? And then sometimes I'll say, okay, it doesn't need to be dealt with in this moment, right? So I might come back to it in a day or two, because then once you stepped away from something, a lot of times you're able to bring clarity. And then when you come back to it, because if you're not calm and you're frustrated, you can't think clearly.
Right.
So that's how most of the time, that's what I just do. And I'm just trying to have these mechanisms that I use and try to make it a part of my normal routine.
So, because sometimes people, when you are successful, people sometimes forget they're human, that they feel, they hurt, they cry, but they just keep going. How was it with you? Because I know I've seen on Facebook you always talk so highly of your father. So when you're on your journey to become who you are now, and you lost your father, how was that for you? Did it set you back? Did it make you question God? Did it?
No, none of the above. And I think it kind of empowered me.
Really?
And I saw a video the other day with Michelle Obama where it says you never become an adult till you lose a parent. And some of those things that my dad was telling me that I was not listening to, it came full circle for me. And it has made me pivot in my strategy of how I live my life and things like that. So I think that it kind of just helped me catapult to another level. And I just wish he was here to be on my journey with me, because it's not over.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind, and how does your faith play a role in that legacy?
Just like I said, service is the rent that we pay here on earth, and to create things and to do things, and not so much leave it on the world or the earth, but those people that I come in contact with, that they will remember me forever.
What are your hopes and dreams for the future, both for yourself and for the next generation of leaders?
We kind of talked about it, I guess, before the cameras came on, but my big thing is fathers. And I am so disappointed in a lot of African American women who downplay the role of fathers. And I feel like the father is just so critical, and that people will have a better understanding of the family dynamics, and that we don't want to be independent women. We don't, that God made us to have a soulmate. God made us not to be alone. And that on this journey, that we have to believe that God is going to bring you somebody that is going to be your equal, somebody that's going to help you elevate to the next level. And that we see so many bad or broken relationships that I think the independent person wants to make sure that they want to make it seem as though they're okay with it, but they're really not. And I tell me and my friends, we have this conversation a lot, because a lot of these people that screaming that they're an independent woman, they don't need a man, but as soon as they go on a date with somebody, they posting a picture of them on Facebook. So if you so independent, why are you posting this first dinner date, your 1 month anniversary with this man, and then when you post that picture and 5 women jump in your inbox, you're back on your independent, I don't need a man soapbox. But you really do want a man, and you really got to believe that God is going to send you what you want, and not just a man that's breathing.
That's right.
So to make sure that you get that, and that you got to work for that, and that you have to understand that you're not 100%, and neither is your partner. But we got to, this whole thing of I don't need a man, I just think is totally absurd. And every time people get a chance to get a man, they jumping on that boat, and then you're back off of it when you're mad at a man to kind of, I guess, brainwash yourself to think you don't want one. But it's absolutely not the truth.
Is it hard, like once you reach like the level of success that you've reached, is it hard to date? Because you don't know if this person dating you because they really love you, or are they dating you because you're Erica Simpson? Is it hard to date?
Well, I'll go into this, that I don't really have a lot of contact with a lot of people. And now I do have a life partner that we do a lot of stuff, and that I know that that's not the reason at all.
So it wasn't.
Because it goes back to the Bible of picking somebody that's equally yoked.
That's true. That's true.
So I feel like I found that.
What do you think when people look at you and they create their own narratives of you? What do you think some of the like popular misconceptions about you are?
I don't really concern myself with that. I don't know. Even though like a lot of people say, oh well, you know, they would ask me to have a party or get together or something for like Mary Kay or if they selling candles or whatever. I don't come into contact with a lot of people. The most contact I have with people is Facebook. If you're not directly coming into my office, I don't have a lot of direct contact with a lot of people. So all of these misconceptions, I really don't even know about them because I'm not nowhere to hear them or to see them unless somebody screenshots me something and says, oh, this person talking about you on Facebook. I don't know. Or, you know, but for the most part, I'm not interactive enough with people on an intimate level for me to even know what's being said or not said about who I am or who I'm not.
Do you think over the years, have you always remained true to who you are? Or did you ever battle like, okay, I didn't have this, but now I have this, and so I feel like I gotta be like this? Like those battles of, you know how social media puts out, we should be this. We should. I think for me, now I'm more comfortable in my own skin. Because, you know, once you watch a lot of social media says you gotta have this. Or you gotta have this. And you're constantly trying to fit. Did you ever like go through a moment where you were trying to fit in, or you always remain grounded and stay true to who you are?
I think so, because even in like high school and stuff, I didn't hang around a lot of people. I never had a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. I'm cordial with a lot of people, but I've never had a big circle of friends or people just hanging out. I've been, I think, for the most part, most of my life, like a loner.
Gotcha. Well, I just want to tell you, I'm thankful. You know, Queens, we don't love on each other enough. It's either we always against each other, we competing, it's a competition. And I'm all about inspiring each other, loving on each other, you know, trying to help each other elevate. And I'm so grateful that you were so willing to come on my platform, even though you didn't know me. And I'm so grateful for you embarking on this journey and elevating people and taking them with you. Because whether people know it or not, like, you know what you do. You know the people, and you might not know how many sisters you've impacted just by being you, just by being obedient, just remaining on course, when you could have been like, I don't know about this. Because it's a lot. Some people don't understand, like, new levels, new devils. It's a lot that comes with it. And you're still, you know, going in your own lane. You're supplying people with jobs. You know, you play a part in the community with the youth, and I'm grateful. And at this time, I just want to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Queen, we love on each other here. I want to get up out my seat and hand you your flowers.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I love it. And thank you for what you're doing for us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on my platform. To my audience, I look forward to posting more episodes. Make sure y'all stay tuned. I love y'all. Be blessed.